And here we are, the Brett and Drew Bad Podcast, episode number 3, Saturday, September 30th. It is 2 o'clock p.m. I'm Drew.
And I'm Brett, and I have no voice.
We have two very special guests with us today. Please introduce yourselves, boys.
My name's Andrew Marquisio. Don't get it wrong.
Vincent Banco.
Do you want to be called Vincent?
It's just easier to say. I feel like when it comes to Vincent, I introduce myself as Vincent, and then you can earn Vinny.
Oh, yeah, it's a personal thing.
Yeah.
Earn Vinny.
No, because I've always just known you as Vinny. And when I always hear you introduce yourself, you're like, Vincent. And I'm like, does he want to be called Vincent? And
it's usually easier to say, and people know what you said the first time. I say
True.
Vinny, could have been Benny, the whole group of names, and then you got to say it 3 times, and by then it's just like, well, where do we go from here?
Did you introduce yourself at parties? It was like...
Eddie Adams.
Eddie Adams. You would just tell random people Eddie Adams.
Yeah, somebody come in and be like, I'd hear, where's Eddie? And I'd be looking around for Eddie too. It's fucking me.
Right here.
Do you ever realize how close your name sounds to Vincent Van Gogh?
I think
Vincent Banco.
Yeah, I chose him as an art project in 6th grade. I was like, why not? Yeah, I chose
Hi,
him.
I'm Vincent Banco, and I'm doing a project on Vincent Van Gogh.
Vincent Van Gogh.
Yeah, I had never even thought of that. And then you said that, and I was like, wow, I've known the kid for
never put that
over
together.
a decade, and I've never even thought about that.
Damn. Well, we had a great night last night at Barrett's.
Last night was interesting. Dude, you think this voice is bad? You should have heard last night.
I did.
It was bad. I actually was only air was coming out.
Yeah, you'll be there by the end of the
Pushing air.
podcast. What happened last night? Initially, Chris got kicked out first. Then
Someone
Bobby.
always gets kicked out.
Yeah, I witnessed
Guaranteed.
that. That was 3 minutes in. We're in a circle, and I look over, and Chris is throwing something away, and obviously these 3 guys in black shirts are saying
Swarming
hey,
him.
what did you just throw away? I'm like, is he not allowed to use that trash can? And then the guy pulled out the nip, and he's like, you're out of here. And Chris put down his drink, and they escorted him out, and I was like, oh shit.
Dude, we should have been there, be like, trash picker,
I was about to say,
picker.
what's worse, that Chris brought the nip or that guy picked through the trash to find it?
He's just a low-key an excuse to search through the trash. I just love swishing around.
I just walk up to the bouncer.
Swill.
I'm like, sir, you're going to have to leave. I just saw you pick through the trash.
Sir, are you going to wash your hands?
This is a food establishment.
Dude,
It is.
last night was weird, though. We got a whole, there was just so much happened. Starting it off with the podcast was nice because,
Yeah.
that energy just, traveled.
Mm.
Right when we had done shots during the podcast, episode 2, and then we just shut the mics off, and everybody was already here.
Yeah, and I was already kind of drunk.
Yeah, I was too. 2 shots of vodka, and I'm like, I'm good. And we had
Yeah.
a beer.
Yeah,
I got
and then
fucked up. Fucked up at the bar. 3 double 7-7s.
Ooh.
Good. Good.
I only bought beer. I've never really bought a beer before last night at a bar.
Yeah, I usually don't either.
It's not really.
It's not worth it. It's $4
No.
opposed to a $6 mixie.
Yeah, and you got to talk to people really close up, and you got to burp
beer
beer.
smell like beer.
It's the last thing you want when someone's up and close and personal.
See, it was different though, because I was already drunk, so I just wanted something to hold and sip on, opposed to actively wanting to get drunker there.
Yeah. Last night was interesting.
I had a lot of fun.
Barrett's is usually very hit or miss.
Yeah, last night was a hit, bullseye
Yeah.
it's always
for us.
interesting.
For us.
Yeah.
And Bobby got lost.
Oh, Bobby got lost on the way home. He thought that he thought that someone else got kicked out, so he just left. And then so it's a straight shot from Barrett's to this house. And he literally somehow found a way to get lost.
In a town he's been living in for 4 years.
That disassociation from alcohol.
Yeah, I was going to say, alcohol will do that to you.
He's just returning to home base.
It's lost
Gotta
connection,
recharge. Gotta go.
error.
Yeah, the coordinates got switched up.
Yeah.
Multiple times when we would be doing our usual debauchery when you guys lived at Wagon, and Bobby would be straggling the back, guys, it's going home time. Where are we going?
It's going. Dude, you want to talk about cops.
Oh.
Let's talk about our old pal Gundy.
Officer Gunderway. Oh
Shout
my
out.
God. So we were smoking pot in Holbrook, and we were doing it in an apartment complex.
Shout out to Holbrook.
Shout out Holbrook. Shout out Canterbury Crossing.
Shout out
Oh,
02343 till I
Yeah,
die.
Fucking die.
Represent. Holbrook represents. But we were just smoking, and we had smoked in this place for so long. Like, that was ours. Dude, we'd sit there for hours and just absolutely sesh.
We have fans out there.
Yeah, I think someone's trying to get
We're
in.
live. No, but there's one time we would sit there for literally hours. Like, have, like, bongs in the front, like...
Just like giggling.
We would set up. Like, but there's one time we were just sitting there. We had just come out of Andrew's pool, and I just looked to my right, and I just saw a cop driving down, and I go, "Oh my God, cops!" And then I was like, "Where'd he go? Where'd he go?" And I just turned around, and the cruiser was parked directly behind the car, so we couldn't go anywhere. And then next thing I know, the back door opens, and Vinny just gets grabbed and just thrown out onto the grass.
Meanwhile, I'm like sweating on the driver's side, just like, don't fucking move. Just waiting for him to come up to me.
Dude, he came up with his like hand on the gun.
Yeah,
He thought we had like drugs, like heroin, like. But I mean, dude, we're just a bunch of white like goofs.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we could
Just
not
like-
be more innocent.
We just look like idiots, just giggling in a car.
Heroin.
Yeah, we're like,
Yeah, he was like, "Tell me," he was like, "You know someone who deals heroin?" I was like, "I don't. I really don't."
So he threw Vinny on the car. I'm sweating profusely. Then he comes up to me. He's like, "Where's your like license and registration?"
Well, wait, wasn't he like, he came up with the hand and the gun, and he's like, "You see this thing?"
Yeah, that was a little.
In the park. So you didn't have to give him your license or anything.
Yeah,
I guess not.
Because he technically didn't even pull us over. Like, he was, like,
just
we
got
were
a
parked
call.
in a parking spot, and this is the rear of the car. He was parked here, had no lights on, so like, clearly he left us
No, I couldn't back out.
No, you could have if you wanted. Nobody's behind you.
I thought he like
No,
had me at a
he was
T.
he was literally right behind the car. Because remember, after he finished, he didn't move.
Yeah, we could have moved. But either way, so I give him my license and registration. He looks at the thing. My registration expired like a week before. Like, who the fuck checks their registration, like,
Right.
expiration date? But of course, it's expired a week ago. And then what happened? Oh, he took my registration, goes back, looks at it, and he throws it back at my face. Like, I'm being completely compliant, and he's just rude and just yanks it in my face. I'm like, wow. And then he like writes a solid ticket.
He's like, "I'm gonna fucking tow this car."
Yeah, no, he said, call your dad or I'm gonna fucking tow this car. And it called him and he didn't pick up. And he's like, well, looks like I'm gonna have to take you guys to the station and take your car. And I was like, okay, and I'll try it one more time. And then I picked up and like called my dad, and he's just like yelling at my dad, telling my dad that I was really rude and just like being like absolute like a dickhead for no reason. And then my dad's freaking out because obviously a cop's on the phone with him, and it's just like a whole mess, dude.
I never forget. He was like, "Yeah, I caught your kids here doing drugs." Like, just like framing it in as like hard as you can. But meanwhile, we're like sitting there like probably talking about God or something.
Talking about religion. But
Thank God.
And it was just like, what happened first he goes, he's a detective.
Not an officer.
He's a detective. Don't get that twisted. So he told us that. We're like, okay. And then as he's leaving, Brett says, "Have a nice day, officer." And he turns around, whips his head back into the window, and he's like, "What did I fucking tell you? I'm a fucking detective." We're like,
Meanwhile,
all in silent. Like,
Meanwhile, I had 2 bombs directly beneath my feet that I was hiding. And I'm like, "Nice detective work,
Yeah, right. Nice
officer."
detective work after.
it was bad.
Dude, that was
Gandhi.
like, that was my first real cop experience. No, actually, I don't know if I got arrested here before or after that. When was that? How long ago?
I don't know.
I believe when that happened, you were a commuter. Had to
Oh,
have been.
that was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow. And it's still legendary.
But we always put Gundy on like a pedestal, like as a joke now.
Yeah.
Gundy. His name's Gunderway,
Yeah.
but we just call him Gundy.
Well,
Underwear.
You wearing your Gundies?
Gundies.
What a perfect cop name.
Detective.
You would not be satisfied with what you just said.
Yeah, I was like,
feel like if I were there and I was like, so you're officer detective. Officer detective. Nice.
I was like, I think officer is kind of like an umbrella term. He was like, it's detective to you.
Like, whoa.
I was like, have a good day. And then he just got back in his car, and he honestly sat there for over 10 minutes, just on his phone.
It's like, oh, detective. Am I detecting some insecurities?
Am I detecting a complex?
But the funny thing is, after like the whole thing, we wanted to just smoke and go get pizza, and then we go to get pizza, and who do we fucking see?
Oh, one of the cops.
The cop was right with Gundy.
Yeah.
He's just like smiling at us.
I was just like standing right next to him, and I just like looked at him, and he was just like eyes ahead, like wide-eyed, like this kid's gonna kick my ass.
Oh, I love that.
Dude, it's such a big to-do. Like, dude, they cuffed 4 kids smoking pot. Like, you don't need 3 cop cars. Like, they called like the chief of police down and shit.
Well, I think when there's more, like when the cops, like when they have something like that, they don't want to be outnumbered too much, just in case like we did have weapons. So like if there's 2 people in a car or 3, they usually always call back up the cops alone, just in case we decide, go
take them down.
Yeah.
With our bongs.
Smash.
Oh, he took your grinder too, cause
he took my grinder.
I tried. The main reason he ripped me out was because I tried opening up your hatch to the trunk, and I was just gonna hurl everything in and be like, "We're just chilling, man."
Because I had just bought that brand new space case, $70.
And that's when he ripped me out of the car, and he said like, "When a cop pulls you over, don't you be moving around, because for all I know, you're getting guns." And it's like, well, your lights weren't on, and we were already parked.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what you want, but
dude, you know he was calm.
Yeah,
because like some old lady was just looking out the window like these
smoke coming out of a car, red light.
I mean, we were there all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta switch your spots around.
Dude, we used to have a running joke. Like I used to have a jank ass F-250,
hoopty,
and like a hoopty, dude, and like it had a belt problem, so it'd screech so loud. So like when we'd be driving in, we'd be like, "We're here,"
just screeching all the way down, and then just smoke weed and screech all the way out.
Like, see you later.
We used to park next to some guy's like really nice, like probably like early 70s Camaro.
I remember that. Wasn't it orange?
It was orange.
I was dude.
We saw a coyote once there. Remember that? When you had the truck on the bench seat, he came out, kind of looked at us, and
we were like, "We ain't alone out here. We out here.
It's a fucking jungle out here."
Dude, I feel like history is not going to look back very fondly on cops like berating just like 17, 18, 19-year-old kids for smoking weed. Like there's going to be some movies coming out in the future where they look back at the prohibition era of weed and just the harsh scrutiny that was dealt to pretty much average people, essentially law-abiding citizens that just want to smoke a little reefer.
Like if he just rolled up and he was like, "Guys, get the fuck out of here! Like, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
Like we would have been out and we would have never came back.
I mean, we haven't gone back anyways.
We should go back.
Should, yeah.
Gundy, if you want to bop us again, buddy, we'll be there October 5th.
Come get us.
Do you know his first name?
Eric
Gunderway.
Shout out to Eric.
Shout out
Yeah,
Eric.
shout out Eric Gunderway.
Let's link him in. Let's find his email through the BSU.
Well, I was about to say,
Holbrook
like,
PD.
You can probably find him.
I'm curious if that incident, because it was a civil offense, like a speeding ticket, I wonder if that's on our record.
Dude, we got popped right at that, like
The cusp.
I mean, like a couple years, but still, like.
I mean, but we also got lucky where if we were like 4 years younger, 4 years older, that would have been a criminal offense and like a big time deal.
Like if that happened, like a couple hundred miles north in New Hampshire, like we could still be in jail.
Yeah, for like how he was mentioning, it's going to be looked back at like how the way they tried to control booze. It's going to be looked at as like mind control, because that's what it is. They don't want you to open your minds, so they keep control of the masses. Like how they said I was reading something, I don't know if it's true, that the Romans would use like the Colosseum and those type of big games to keep the public like entertained while they shafted them up the ass.
Have you ever heard that quote? It's like, give them their bread and their beer and they'll never revolt. Because like if you just keep the people fat and happy, then Like, it's like, dude, Americans are soft now. Like, we're never going to take to the streets and, like,
No.
We're
like,
fucking soft.
forsake our warm showers and, like,
Our fucking phones.
comfy beds with the sheets, like, all the softener, and it just
People
smells
rather
so
just
nice.
sit on their phones and scroll through Instagram endlessly.
Dude, did you ever look up Gunderway? I just found an article. The mother of the 23-year-old man gunned down Tuesday night witnessed the fatal shooting from a window. Family members said Wednesday. The victim, James Hillard, was found shot in the driveway of their Grove Street home Tuesday night. He was the cousin of City Police Chief Detective Eric Hilliard and also a relative of Holbrook Police Officer Eric Gunderway. It says police officer here. It doesn't say detective. It was the
Get
city's
destroyed.
8th murder this year.
Wow.
That happened.
For a second, I thought that it was like Gundy
So
gunned someone down.
That's
what I
why.
was
That's what I
thinking.
thought you were getting. I was gonna
Gundy
be like, dude, Gundy killed a man. But dude, I actually feel bad. His like a family member got killed.
Yeah.
That sucks. That's got to be hard. Like to just have someone just like, I feel like that's even worse than someone dying to a disease.
Yeah.
Where it's like there was no even like foresight. Like all of a sudden, like your life, the person was just unfairly taken.
It happened in 2010, so that might have really changed up who he was as a person after that.
Wow. Yeah, he's like, my cousin just got killed out here. I mean, that was probably about 2 years before this ordeal happened with
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, 'cause what year was that? Was that 13 or 12?
It's one of the two. I don't know.
No,
No, it must have been 13 because I graduated high school in 13.
Well,
So it
We
must have
all
been the
did.
summer of that. Yeah, true. We did all.
You're like, I graduated 2013.
I
I don't know when you did. But me.
Drew, what year did you graduate?
High school?
Yeah.
2014.
See, so Drew's the same age as us, but he missed the. Or no, he made the cutoff.
I made the cutoff, but
When's
what
your
happened
birthday?
was August 21st.
which is odd because Brian's is like, what, the 21st, 22nd, and he made it into our grade. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is so weird.
I think it's like that late August, early September is the cutoff to where your parents can.
go either way with
See,
it.
I believe what happened was I originally lived in Taunton, and I went to Taunton kindergarten for, I think, almost a full year, but we moved to Freetown before the year was complete. So I had the option to either move on and like cut the losses for kindergarten and just go to first grade in Freetown, or I could do kindergarten again in Freetown. So my parents were just like, hey, like, give him another year to play.
Oh,
I
that's
think.
cool.
Yeah.
Do you feel it gave you an advantage in school at all?
No, I probably not. I'm still an idiot.
Once an idiot, always an idiot.
Exactly.
What's that quote? It's like you can cure. I totally lost it. It's like, I think it's something like you can cure dumb, but you can't cure.
Stupid.
Exactly.
Just something that doesn't make sense. We should make a book of quotes that are just stupid.
Don't make any sense.
We should, yeah, like those things that moms will buy at like a little like antique shop. Those like wooden signs that have like stupid sayings on them,
Like
like
live,
"Home is
laugh,
where the
love."
heart is." Like you
Live,
just like we
laugh,
should make our
love.
own stupid ones.
Dude, Mullally lives for those signs.
I know.
Like little knickknacks is what your mom loves.
Dude,
My mom loves it too.
They love just like bebopping around Christmas tree shop. Like, oh, I love
This is cute. This is cute. You're just like, sure. I don't know. You decorate your house. My mom will always ask me to like look up paint colors for walls. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like just paint it. Like she's like talking like one shade off, like of like 3 different colors. I'm like,
It's just went off. Oops, never mind.
Do a quick run around.
Is this a break where I could
Yes, you can go ahead.
use the loo?
low T or high T? The real question. Answered soon. Find out after the break.
Yeah, like fine.
Let's roll.
All right. Speaking of Gundy, I actually was still scrolling the internet. I just found something pretty wild. So this article is titled, "Mother of Brockton Man Accused of Brutal Beating Says Victim, quote, deserved it." So I'll give you like the quick run through. Kent Johnson, 44, Brockton, arrested for being held on $750,000 cash bail after prosecutors said he brutally beat a Brockton man in a parking lot. Let's see. So his mother, quote, said the man deserved it, even though she apparently did not know who he was. Now, Johnson turned himself in to the police station with his brother, walked him in there to turn himself in, his brother Eric Gunderway. So Gundy's brother brutally beat some dude, and it says here that when he hit the ground, they started curb stomping his head.
Was Gundy there?
I don't think he was there, but
Is this what led to
Dude, Gundy's got like a crazy family.
History.
yeah.
He's on the right side of
Is
it.
that camera like getting me from like here down, or is that you?
No, that one's mine. You're over there.
Yeah, dude. Sunday afternoon, Johnson went to the Brockton police station with his brother, Holbrook police officer Eric Gunderway, police officer, to turn himself in after learning that Bishop's condition was serious.
Wow. Dude, but I do respect that. Where he's like, fuck this. Like, he's like, I'm getting out of this shit. I'm doing it right. I mean, like, obviously it's very gray, but like, at least he was like, kind of pulled himself up by his bootstraps.
So what happened to his brother?
His brother got in a fight with some dude in a parking lot, and he knocked the dude to the ground and then curb stomped him. And the dude was in like critical condition in the hospital. And when they found out, like, he fled the scene, and then they found out afterwards that the dude was in serious condition. He went to the police station with Gundy and turned himself in.
Wow.
So what are the charges? Does it say?
When did this happen?
2012.
Dude.
You go like intent to murder?
Dude, Gundy went through some shit right when he seen us.
It was like the day before.
Yeah, he must have been on edge because those two cops who were like, there was like the young white cop and the older white cop with the mustache, and they were just
They were
talking.
scared.
They were talking about like how the Red Sox did the night before, the pennant race.
Yeah, they were not about it.
They like let Gundy take care of it.
And when he signed my things, I think that happened August 4th. The guy was like, "Oh, happy birthday, kid." Like he legit did not care about this situation at all.
And rightfully so. Like, literally, it's a non-issue.
I mean, as far as it'd be funny if they were on their way to Holbrook House too, and the dude's just like, "Gundy, wrap this thing up, man."
We just have lunch with them all.
It's like, you guys got me real scared. Like,
You got me good.
like that's some good acting, man.
He's like, you want your weed back, dude?
Here you go. Like, just did it for the
Dude,
cameras.
that'd be great if like one day at a bar we just see Gundy. Oh, that would be.
I would not want to drink with him.
I just don't get how it's his brother, but his name's Gunderway and the dude's name is Johnson.
Different fathers, brother.
Yeah. Is Gundy black?
He is.
Yep.
His brother is, I think. This guy.
Was there a picture of him?
Yeah.
That doesn't look much like. Actually,
That's a Gundy if I ever saw one.
dude, pop that puppy into the camera. Oh, calling you out.
Does he have tattoos on
I'm
his
just
face?
reading the news. No.
Dude's
Just a
like Gucci
mustache.
man, dude. A little ice cream.
Dude, that's serious badassness.
Dude,
Or
it
just
said
stupidity.
the guy that got the shit kicked out of him, the surgeons had to drill a hole into his head to relieve the pressure of his brain swelling.
Oh my god, dude. That's some like.
That's like ancient Egypt type remedy. Like, I got a headache. They're like, we got you, man. Just a fucking stick and a stone.
It's just pressure in there, dude.
Yeah, you see some
Yep.
dude getting like a drill ready, like get a fucking drill bit.
Help you
Like
ride
a
up.
DeWalt, like.
I was just like, oh fuck, this battery's low.
It's good.
Whatever.
Do you have a new drill bit?
I only got a wood drill bit. Like,
That'll
it'll
work.
work.
Like a dull spoon.
He's like, where does it hurt? He's like, right here.
Let me just push this eye to the side, get in behind there.
It's like, I feel a lot better, thank you.
Like, I can't see anymore, but that's good.
Thanks.
Dude, you ever hear about that guy who like was hammering the railroad ties, and there was like TNT in it? He didn't know, and when he hammered the railroad tie, it like went right up through his brain, and like he completely lived. But I guess it hurt it. I don't know what it was, but it was like it stopped him from being able to like feel other people's pain or something like that. So they said he was like a total asshole after it. Like, he was like the nicest guy, and all of a sudden he just became this like egocentric asshole. But like, they studied him for a long time.
But why was there TNT on the railroad?
I don't know, dude.
Was it like old TNT?
I don't know, just enough to like that when he hit it, it just fired it back up into his head.
He's like, what's this red giant stick of dynamite here? How did we just fucking hit it?
Like,
Wow,
it's
that's
odd
crazy.
that some people can get hit in the head and then they come out of it knowing like another language,
Different things.
the history of like
Yeah,
shuffling.
like, doesn't make any sense, dude.
Is that how Christianity started? Some guys just like, Jesus Christ.
They just conked Jizo in the head.
Got him.
I've been working on the railroad.
Boom.
Bang.
Wow, that's wild. Can you imagine getting brutally injured like that at your work?
Can you imagine like you're like I don't even know how that would feel coming out of it. You're like, oh my God, there's something through my head right now. You're like, ah. Dude, think about like Steve Irwin. Like he got the thing in the heart. I guess
all the animals he's dealt with, like alligators, venomous snakes, stingray got him.
Dude, I guess he like swam to the surface and the thing was in his heart. And when he got in the boat, he pulled it out.
And was that the wrong
There's a
move?
video
That's
of
why
it
he
online.
Because he bled?
Yeah, he bled out. They said if he left it in, he would have lived.
I saw that video.
Yeah.
Is stingray things barbed?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think
So
so.
it's
Makes sense then.
Does more damage in the way out.
Like the heart just comes out on.
Shit.
On the thing. He's like, fuck. He just hit that puppy back in there.
This one time when I went to, because I've never seen a stingray in the wild, well, until this point, but we went to Florida to visit my father's parents, and we were told that we were going to go to this friend's house, like of theirs, and we're going to go on a pontoon boat out in the Gulf of Mexico, be beautiful, be great. We get there, this is like 2003, 2004, so mind you, no GPS, no cell phones, no nothing. It's crazy we have to bring that up when you tell a story now because people are so embedded in the technology, we forget that there was a time where if you needed help, you were screwed. So we go to this lady's house, and it's like a typical, Florida is known for just like Florida, you know what I mean? Everyone in there is just an idiot usually. So,
Can't explain Florida. Florida's just
like
like,
as you said, it's barely a state. But we get there, you can see, one of those houses where you open the door and all of a sudden it just stops, and you're like, you look around, and there's just sacks of newspapers from like Vietnam till now. And she brings us out to the pontoon boat, and I was like, there's no seats. Like, this is odd. And we're walking up to the pontoon boat, and it's like kind of like a typical trailer trash neighborhood. She stops. She goes, "That's right." She points over to the stack of like dirty white lawn chairs that you stack, and she's like, "Everybody grab a seat." This lady's like maybe like 89. She might have served in World War II. And we go out to the Gulf of Mexico, like real deep. But on the way out to the Gulf to go deep, we were like almost hitting rocks. She drives across this pier where people are fishing and stuff, and we're driving like right over their lines in a no wake zone. And she's like, "Look, they're all waving to us," and they're like flipping us off, throwing cans at us. It was like mayhem. My sister was covering up her face, so ashamed. I was like 9. I didn't know what was really going on. But eventually, we're like miles and miles out. Can't see ocean. All you see is ocean for every direction. And she crashes into a reef, and we look out, and we're like in like 2 inches of water.
Oh my!
She says, "Everyone get out and swim." There are stingrays as far as you, like everywhere, like flooding around the boat. So my dad and my uncle pushed the boat for like hours. We had no water, no food. We were baking in the sun. It was my grandparents, who also served in World War II. To them, this was funny. They were dying laughing, wiping tears out of their eyes. It was to them, this was classic. And my dad and my uncle were like blowing F-bombs at them, swearing. They're still laughing. And eventually we see like a boat like way out in the direction. I remember we're all waving to the boat like, "Hey, hey." And someone's like, "He's coming closer." But he was really going in the other direction. But after hours and hours of like pushing the boat, we eventually made our way back. But just seeing stingrays for like flooding around the boat was
scary, especially considering your dad's just walking in there.
Yeah, my mother's yelling like, "Get back in the boat." And he's like, "We got to keep pushing."
He's like, "What do you want me to do?"
They're like, stingrays are just like underwater birds.
They really are.
It's like fish look up, and it's just like birds.
Yeah.
Whoa,
It's a good day.
it's an eagle, bro.
Dude, I feel like anytime Vinny tells a story about his family, it's like something wild. Like the thing in Texas.
Oh,
like,
I was just gonna bring that out, dude.
What, on the highway?
Yeah.
Dude, that was insane.
Tell that.
Have you ever heard that?
No, I've never heard this story.
We met my dad's family for the first time. The family that adopted him. My mother found them on the internet. And after, in the airport, we meet my aunt and everything, and we're on the way back. And down south, the highways aren't like here. They get like 6, sometimes 7 lanes, and everyone's just driving as fast as you want because it's Texas, America. So we're in the fast lane, and all of a sudden I hear my aunt. She's like, and nobody's buckled because we get in the car, and we're like, "Where are the seatbelts?" And she's like, "Nah, they're under the seat." Like, fuck them.
Tucked away for safety.
So all of a sudden she, says, "Oh, fuck." And we're like, "What?" And you see these cars just like crash up ahead, and cars just start crashing and spinning. Dust is kicking up, and she pulls off into the fast lane, like drifting in the dirt, going sideways. And I remember looking over in slow-mo, seeing all these cars just like making eye contact with the dude as he's just sitting there like a deer accepting his death. His car's just spinning like crazy,
motionless. Like,
and then
this is it.
gripping the wheel like no.
Like, Jesus, take the wheel.
So after all that, she just pulls back on the highway, and we all look back and just see like a giant cloud of dust of mayhem, and she just kept driving, and she was like in shock. And then,
like,
and then we just
that was crazy.
went along with our day like it never even happened.
Wow.
Jesus, dude.
That's wild. I remember one time when I was younger, my family was on our way to Horseneck Beach, and we just saw this car like go off the road and flip over into the side, and we're towing a trailer to get to the beach, and my dad would like his cop instinct just like pulls the car off the side of the road and like slams it in park and jumps out and just starts like running towards this wreck, and like him all of a sudden like a bunch of people start running over there and they just pull this old dude out of the car. It was crazy, dude.
Dude, one time I was driving with my dad on the highway. I was real young. I must have been like 6, 7. And all of a sudden, like my dad drives relatively fast. He always has, like, not like super fast, but he drives fast. And all of a sudden, this like black SUV, tinted windows, blacked out like rims, just whipped to the right of us, and was literally like, I've truly never seen someone drive like this before. Like just weaving. And my dad's like, dude, they're gonna crash. And like they got not 5 cars in front of us, and all of a sudden you just saw the thing just lose control. And he just like goes off into like this big median, and he just like hits the guardrail, and the car just starts spinning. And like all of a sudden, like one of the windows broke, and like someone fell out of it, dude. And like it was just rolling, and because you just saw people just getting flung around like inside of it.
Ragdolls.
Yeah, and my dad like pulled over as well, like, but eventually he's just like, I can't help him. But dude, from that point on, I was like, it's so easy to wear your seatbelt. Like, why don't I just from that day on, that's the first thing I do. Like I saw them just like get tossed out of the car, and like they were half out of the car when it rolled over. I don't know what happened, dude.
You didn't see any when you guys went over. You didn't see any.
I stayed in the car. He just like went over, and he just like, I can't help.
So he may have seen somebody with like an arm missing, like
brains coming out of their head. You don't know.
Damn.
To be able to see that, and just
that was a formative moment. I was like
you're like, well, time to wear the seatbelt forever. Dude, I saw a car crash happen like right in front of me in Randolph Center, where this guy was on like a moped, and it's like
we were coming from the movies, dude.
Yeah, you were there.
I was in the car behind you, dude.
But me and Josh were there. Josh didn't see it, but like I saw it happen. Like this moped came in, and then like this SUV just took a left and cut him off, and his moped just smashed into pieces. Like there was nothing left of his moped, and he like got up. My dad just threw it in park, and like I called 911, and then like he just went over. He's like, "You all right?" He's like, "Yeah, but there's nothing left of my moped." Like he just walked home. There was nothing left. It was just bits and pieces. He's like,
yeah, I remember I like dude, that was back in the days when we used to have our parents drive us.
Yeah.
I think my mom was like, we were in the car with my mom, and I just remember driving up, and there was just shit everywhere, and like tons of cop cars. We were like, what happened?
"Shit."
Dude, that's the thing with
You
driving
could've died.
motorcycles. Like, I would love to have a motorcycle. I trust myself to
kill
stay
yourself.
vigilant, but I don't trust anybody else. Like
No.
people like that, it's not. You could do everything right, and someone could just completely kill you.
You could be sitting at a red light, and a car just can plow through you.
Dude, my
Coming
grandpa
right
said
from
he was
behind.
sitting at a red light, and the dude like came around the corner on the total wrong side of the road, and he was like, "Holy shit!" And it like broadsided him, and he just lifted his leg up, and the car just smashed the side of his bike, and like went on the other leg, and he like had to lift it up. He says, "If I didn't lift my leg, it would have been gone."
Wow. Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah, that's scary. Dude, do you think that car accidents in our lifetime, we're just going to see it not even slowly decrease, but once self-driving cars take over, just completely
zero.
like drop to maybe like a couple a year?
See, the thing with that is like, you're not going to have individual crashes, but then if the whole system crashes, like you're going to see like the biggest worldwide crash of all time.
We talked about this once. It's like for a long time things will be safer. Like there won't be a car accident for 10 years, but every 10, 20 years there'll be like a system-wide failure, and like all like hundreds of millions of people will
Driving
just
up.
die.
That's like the ultimate terrorist thing.
Oop, I was just gonna say like terrorists could like hack the system and just cause everybody to go in the like they could cause like a certain percentage to go on the wrong side of the road.
Accelerate. Like everyone's cars are just speeding up and getting faster and faster. Like, oh shit, like what's going on?
Like ISIS is already using just people, like rogue people in their cars, like just crashing into people. Like, never mind an Equifax hack. Like,
Fuck that. Fuck Equifax.
Right, dude. Literally, like all of our information could have been compromised.
Oh yeah, like 100 million or so.
Yeah,
people.
it was half the people. I think it was 130
Million.
They leaked like social security numbers, bank account numbers, and pins, credit card numbers, like everything.
Dude, and I guess afterwards the company released like this program to like quote help out the people that their data might have been compromised, and it's basically like a security thing to keep an eye on their information, make sure that they're not being like their identities aren't being taken. But they like you have to basically like sign this agreement when you use their software.
Yeah.
But when you sign the agreement, you
give up their right.
Yeah, you give up the right to sue them for any compromises to your information, and it's also only a 1-year free trial of that software, and then you have to start paying for it yearly for something that you're probably going to need for the rest of your life if your information
just to
was
protect their
compromised.
ass. Nothing happened to that CEO, by the way. He took his 161 million and left.
Yeah. Oh, that's the thing, dude. Before they even told the public, like they didn't tell the public for 6 months after it happened, and before they told the public, they like sold all their stocks. So that way, like they made all their money back, and once the stock prices dropped, like they were good, and their stocks weren't
inside
affected.
trading or whatever it's called. Right?
Yeah. It's illegal,
How
and they
do
got
we
away
just
with
let
it.
that shit go and like happen?
And
Dude,
it's
corporate scumbags.
like it's crazy we let that happen because we have all it takes is a little bit of the population to, revolt and do something, and they'll be clearly outnumbered. But it's just nobody wants to sacrifice their security of having a home, running water, because then it's like if you got little kids, you know what I mean. You can't screw with being fired because then you can't get diapers, food.
You're locked in.
They're the untouchables, dude. Those high up corporate bigwigs. Nothing that any of the common people do can harm them.
The globalists.
The
globalist scum.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones. Infowars.com.
Dude, I remember I showed my religion class. I don't even know how I convinced Cuthbert, like my religion teacher Cuthbert, to show the whole class the Alex Jones and Piers Morgan debate.
Oh.
And it wasn't even a debate. It was just Alex Jones going off.
Yelling.
And like the teacher was just like watching, and then he was like, "That was terrible."
Alex Jones. Do you think Alex Jones puts on an act, or do you think he really believes in these conspiracies that like gay frogs, whatever it is, water's contaminating the frogs to make them gay?
I think he truly believes this shit. I truly do.
I saw a John Oliver video of him exposing Alex Jones,
What?
and it was good.
I've never seen that.
I wouldn't even call it exposing. Like he literally just like played shit that Alex Jones had already put out. And just showed people like, do you guys realize how crazy this guy is?
Yeah.
And Trump endorses him.
Yeah. Trump loves Alex Jones.
He went on his show.
Mm-hmm. They're one of like the few, like they're kicking out the New York Times. They're kicking out all these different like news stations. Meanwhile, like Infowars is just invited into the White House all the time.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy, man.
I'll buzz a little bit.
Ooh. Spread the sickness.
Who's ready to get
Spread
sick?
the bubonic plague.
I always get everybody sick. Ow, that hurt.
It's Jared.
Yeah,
It's Jared.
I went to pack of my pinky and just burnt it.
Tobacco.
Is that tobacco?
Yeah.
That's tobacco. Tobacco. We always put Y's at the end of things. It's like
Tobacco, Tindy,
Scrandy.
Gundy.
Mini weed.
Dude, tobacco is dubbed mini weed.
Mini weed.
just a little lightheaded for you.
Although if you consume it in too large of quantities, it's like psychedelic. Like the room will be spinning, which is crazy to me that I mean, it's not crazy to me that it's illegal to drive under the influence of marijuana, but what's crazy to me is that that's illegal while you can smoke a cigarette and drive. Because yeah, like a cigarette's fine, but if you packed a pipe full of tobacco and you were ripping that while you were driving, the road would be spinning around you. Like you can't drive like that.
Dude, I'm glad you mentioned this because like I use a little of the loose tobacco you had to roll a cigarette, and like smoked it over the course of like 3 days because I can't smoke that whole thing. But 2 days ago, I was driving home from school and I took way too big of a hit and then coughed. Dude, I almost pulled over because like
Spinning.
everything was spinning. And I was like, oh my God, like this is not safe right now. Thank God I was on a back road.
A guy told me at Walgreens that he was trying to quit cigarettes and he was using the patches. And he put on like 3 patches, which you're not supposed to do. And then he was smoking a cigarette.
Oh my
So he's
God.
trying to quit and not quit at the same time. And he said he passed out at the wheel on the highway and almost died.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll have 2 more patches, please. Like, just buy 2 more boxes.
Dude, I heard that I can't remember who I heard this from. It might have been like a family friend that some dude was trying to quit smoking and he was wearing the patches when he went to bed. And he got like sweaty in the middle of the night and the patch peeled off and it fell off into the bed and it attached to his wife who's not a smoker.
What?
And she got sick. She got like she was puking in the toilet and she was like spinning and dizzy because she got all of that. He was on a high dose of nicotine and she just got all that patch like
Wow.
up in her system.
Have you ever heard that audio of the cop who like confiscated the weed brownies from the kids, and then like he ate them with his wife, and like they call 911 because they think they're dying. He's like, yeah, I ate some edible marijuana. He's like, I need an ambulance. Like we're dying.
Cop said this?
A cop, yeah, the cop called the
So he
police
just-
on himself.
Takes brownies from kids, eats them.
Eats them.
That's wild.
Why?
You can't have this.
Dude,
can't.
it's funny to watch people who have no history with marijuana like completely fuck themselves the first time they try it and just smoke way too much
It
or
goes
eat
either
way
way,
too much
though.
edibles.
A lot of people are like, I don't feel anything. the
Yeah,
first
sometimes
time.
you just don't get any effects, and then sometimes people are like, "Oh my god, I'm tripping."
The first time I smoked is the highest I've ever been. Ever. I swear to you, I was seeing cartoons, like little animals were like running out into the street and like saying hello to me with like big, like bright eyes. It was not good.
Now you always see cartoons.
Now it's just like cartoon world. But it was actually a psychedelic experience.
I bet.
Like that was the first time I really like felt my heart like beating, and I was just seeing like 5 frames per second.
Were you
like
like-
I'd look and it's like 1.
Were you just sweating profusely?
Well, there was these like kids chasing us around the neighborhood in their car, and I thought they were cops, and like we were just running through people's yards, and they'd like rip up and like screech and like. They're like, where are you going? And I was like running for my life. And like I remember my friend Joey, we went up to like this yard, and he's like, we gotta jump this fence. And it was a long picket fence, and he just leaned on it, and like the second he put any weight on it, it just like went over where it was, and it just like accordioned like down, and the whole fence just collapsed. And I was just like, oh my god. It was, and then there was some abandoned house. He's like, we gotta break in. I was like,
Yeah,
no. I was like, no, we can't.
Way too high for that.
Oh, there's nothing like the adolescent adventures of the first time you consume weed.
Yeah, but it was like 100 degrees. And then we went back to Ricky's basement, and like it was so hot. There was no AC. And I was freaking out. And I literally took off all of my clothes.
Got into your gundies.
I had my underwear on, and I was just laying on his Yogi Bo, and I was just looking at the ceiling, and it was just like I was watching a movie on the ceiling, like in my own mind. And then I fell asleep at some point, and I just remember, so like I don't even know how long after, there was just like a thing of ice cream placed into my hand, and I was just like,
Oh, yeah.
I stared at the ground and ate like I think the whole thing, and then just like fell back asleep, like still holding the empty carton and spoon.
Dude, the first time I smoked weed, it had the potential to become one of the worst nights ever because I was with this girl, and we were just like sitting parked in a parking lot, and as we had just finished the blunt, and I was the highest. I don't think I had ever gotten that high after that, and I'm just sitting there taking in all of reality. The parking lot's completely empty aside from my car, and all of a sudden, a Freetown cop just pulls into the parking lot, pulls right up next to my car, and just looks at us. And they're like, it had to have still been smoky in the car. He had to have known, but he didn't say anything. He didn't he didn't get out of his car. He didn't even look at us after he made that first glance. And then we're just sitting, parked next to this cruiser as he's just like on his laptop playing around. We sat next to him for like 10 minutes, and when we thought for sure he's gonna get out. And after 10 minutes, we're just like, so should we go? Like, yeah, let's go. And I put it in drive and ever so slowly start creeping out of the spot, and just the slowest I've ever driven. Like, oh, all right, pulling out of the parking lot, looking back every 5 seconds to see if he's following, and then we're just out of there.
Do you remember that one time we parked over the Grove Lake when it was like Christmas break, I believe. I don't know what year it was.
I remember that.
But we weren't even smoking. We were all just sitting there talking, and it was dark out. And all of a sudden, a cop pulls up beside us and put the brightest light I've ever seen into the car, and just flooded the place with light. He's like, "What are you boys doing?" We were like, "We're just
Parked.
just catching up. Like, haven't seen each other in a long time." He's like, "Get the fuck out of here."
He said the lake was closed.
Closed.
The lake is
Closed. Like roping it off.
It's literally just like a little pull off. Like,
Yeah. It's like, first of all, the lake is never closed, and it's like, it's the Grove, dude. Like,
there's no
Get
rules
outta
in the
here.
Grove.
yeah, the Grove, you could ride snowmobiles, dirt bikes.
The Grove is like the sticks, dude. It's a little hideaway from reality.
Such a little community of very like no rules roads that are like very narrow.
I remember I just got my license, and this dude was right behind me the whole way, and I got back to my house, and he like pulled to the side and like rolled down his window. He was like, "Yo," I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Are you new to driving?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You don't need to use blinkers in here."
New to driving.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "You don't really got to stop at the stops either." He's like, "You can just drive in the Grove."
That's such a Boston response. He's like, "Yo, you new to driving?" You're like, "No, fuck off."
You're like, don't fuck with that turn signal. That's confusing me.
When
I was using it a lot.
before we picked up you to go to Maine, like this recent time, like I had Brian in the car, and he was like, "Guys, like the Grove," and I was like, I forget what he said, but his main point, he's like, I think the Grove is just like a bunch of people that still think it's like the 80s.
It is.
Because the Grove is just home to me, but it's funny that other people have this odd like conception of it just being
A
A lot of people
lawless
are like,
place.
"Oh, the Grove. Oh,
If you don't know your way around the Grove,
you'll get lost."
good luck getting out. There's 2 exits.
It's a fucking maze. It's like a maze all the way through.
It's not like an open source neighborhood. Like, it's like a maze. It's literally like set up like a maze on like on paper where like there's only 2 ways out, and none of the streets connect.
They all look the same.
It does, dude.
like, you think there'd be signs on that main strip that runs through from the
Yeah.
Grove store to the King Road. Like it runs through like a snake, just right through. You think there'd be signs, just follow this to get out, but
Nope.
fuck them.
We used to play a game where I'd like take Brian and Sean in the truck, and they'd each like close their eyes, and I would just drive them to a random place in the Grove and throw it in park. And I'd be like, "All right, get us out of here." And like, it was a learning experience because they'd be like, "Where am I?" And it's funny because I know like the back of my hand, so like I'm just watching him, and he's like pulling down like back road, like dead ends rather, and like just not being able to find his way out.
That's pretty funny. We had a neighborhood like that in Lakeville, but I didn't live there. I was just the dummy that got lost in there all the time.
Dude, there's actually a Hollamore in Lakeville. I've been wanting to go.
A what?
Hollamore, you know those like big orange like trucks.
Oh yeah.
Why would you want to go to Hallamore?
Dude, they have Clydesdales and like the like giant beautiful horses, and you can just walk in, and like it's insane to see an animal that big.
Like Hollamore has horses.
Clydesdales, yeah. That's like what it used to be, like the Hollamore
Oh.
horses, and like they used to pull like a thing, like
Oh, okay.
Like how Budweiser has their
Exactly.
Clydesdales, like just for show.
exact. It's like a whole. It's just their brand,
It's just for show.
Weird.
right? We gotta get an animal for the podcast. Mickey Mouse.
You've seen better days.
We ate him.
Speaking of that, just for show, that reminded me of my grandmother was super. My great grandmother was super Portuguese, and I don't know if you know, but all Portuguese grandmothers have a white parlor in their house, and it's like the living room that no one's allowed in because
Is it all plastic?
hers wasn't, but they keep it pristine. Like when we were kids, we weren't even allowed in there. Only adults were allowed in there because kids would mess it up too much. And God forbid, if she ever caught you in there with food,
The belt came off.
I wouldn't know because I never went in there with food because I was too scared. I mean, my some of my old family, they used to just have their whole first floor would be just for show and just to have guests over, and they would live in the basement.
Really?
Yeah, they would have
Wow.
like a whole nother living area set up in the basement, like a finished basement, and no one would go upstairs. It would just be for family gatherings, and it was kept pristine. How crazy is that?
Yeah. Like, it's crazy that anyone even covers their furniture in plastic. It's like, what do you...
I want to keep it fresh.
Dude, it's like it's just the whole philosophy of like saving something for later instead of using it now.
Like Frank Sinatra is saying, he it was something along the lines of like, if you, like, don't let your belongings own you. You know what I mean? Like, if you care more about them, they end up owning you instead of you owning it. Like, it's just
like drugs.
It's just material.
Dude, my Uncle Mike told me a story, like a guy in his neighborhood, he got like a brand new car and he like got a turbo installed in it. And like my Uncle Mike would always be like, when are you going to use that turbo? When are you going to use that? He's like, no, I'm saving it. And then like one night a garbage truck, like the brakes let loose and it like just careened down the hill and just smashed his car to pieces. And my Uncle Mike's like, yeah, you probably wish you used that turbo while you had it, huh?
Use that turbo, man.
Oh, man.
Because like, what are you saving it? It's like when Skimpius Maximus and ECC, like, it's just saving the food. I was like,
Yeah.
what are you rationing this for the war?
Like, you can have 2 potatoes.
It used to be bad.
Really bad. I remember he would, if I wanted scrambled eggs and he was serving, he would take the spoon and he would make a big scoop of scrambled eggs, and then he would just shake it and like level it off.
No.
Like, he would
like
make that thing
tweezers.
level, and then he would just like dump it in, and I'd look at him and be like, "Can I have a little more?" And he'd grab like 1 curd of scrambled eggs and just throw it on and be like, "Dude, I'm hungry. Like, can I have some eggs?"
Dude, it was weird today. Now they just let you go. It's free. You just load it up.
Yeah, and Goober isn't around to make sure you're not
Dude,
overportioning.
I heard him in the back.
Yeah.
I heard the voice. I was like, that's Goober. I know Goober.
I remember one time the really nice ECC worker that's not all there. He was scooping my food, and he gave me like a very small portion, and I was like, "Dude, do you mind if I have a little more? I'm like pretty hungry." And he starts scooping more, and then that Goober comes over, the manager, and he starts yelling at him. He's like, "Hey, like I told you, like 1 scoop for people, like you can't be giving." And I was still standing there. I was like, "Hey," and I got his attention. I was like, "Dude, yell at me. I'm the one that asked for the extra food. He's just doing what I told him. Like, if you have a problem with me having all this food, talk to me.
Then
Like,
we
you
can
want me to
take
put
this
it back?"
outside right now.
But I'm like, because the ECC worker is like super nice. He's just trying to help me out, and he gets like ruthlessly shit on for that. And I just hated to see, like, as it's my fault, like, because I'm just asking for a little extra food.
Dude, I remember we used to take like cups, like a ton of cups. And one time it was just me and Bobby. And like I had like 2 arms of like giant stacks of cups.
ECC's free game, dude.
And Bobby had like 1 stack like this. And we were walking towards the door. And then I heard Goober behind us like, hey, where you going? You with the cups. And I go, Bobby, keep moving. Like, don't look back. And I just like made it to the outside. And then like as I got out, I like went to hold the door for Bobby. And he wasn't there. And I just turned around and Bobby was just like looking at Goober like as he just like was like tisk-tisking him like, can't do this.
I would steal metal forks, spoons, knives, like
everything.
anything.
Saran wrap,
plates,
like ceramic plates of
ceramic
pizza
plates,
and chicken.
anything.
I remember I used to, when I lived in Miles, because it was right next door to ECC, I would fill my tray up with breakfast, and I wouldn't even wrap any of it in the to-go containers. I would just walk out of ECC with the tray, the silverware, and everything, and bring it right to my dorm and just sit down at my desk and eat there.
I've done that multiple times. Like you just walk in, like put your tray down, scan in, like the person they're just like,
Yeah, people are looking at you like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm hungry," and I also don't want to be in ECC.
Ugh. It's a bittersweet thing to be gone. Because my mom hooks meals up. If you follow me on Snapchat, you know that.
Oh yeah.
If I check Snapchat.
Yeah, you're an elusive creature.
I just never check my phone. I feel bad because like people will come up to me and be like, "Yo, I texted you yesterday," and I'll be like, "Oh, sorry, I don't check my phone."
Are you that guy with like 100 like text messages? Like, well,
I
that's
went
too
in his
many.
iPad yesterday, and it said 34 on his text. I was like, whoa.
Like 33 are from mom.
I've never even received 34 texts.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, because once it gets to the point where you have 34 texts, like you're not going to go back and start looking. You just keep up with the new ones.
You're just like, oh God, just let them get buried in the past.
I need to keep all those notification things off. I can't have that.
My mom has like 1,600 emails. I'm like, whoa. Like, that's going to take a while to hit all those unreads.
It's just like Bed Bath & Beyond, like newsletters. Like,
yeah.
they don't know. They don't know to like unsubscribe.
My mom asked me yesterday if I could help her sign up for Instagram. I'm like, hit sign up. And then I was like, do what it tells you to do.
It's like connect to Facebook. Like,
yeah,
done.
it's just, you don't have to think.
Dude, I actually received an email like 2 weeks ago, and it was from Chase Bank. It's like, your account has been compromised. I was like, what? And I like opened it and went to the link, and it was like, sign in here with your information. And I'm technologically savvy. I was like, dude, it was convincing. And I was like, whoa. Command T, open a new tab, chasebank.com. Not the same. It was like a complete fake website. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, because it was like chasebankingonline.com or something like that instead of Chase Online Bank. Like, that would have fooled my mom or my grandparents.
I was about to say, think of how many like old ladies or old men just get completely duped on the internet. Like, oh, my Nigerian nephew left me millions. All I have to do is wire like $1,000 for the transfer and I'll be good. Yeah, I'll get it.
And that $1,000 is all they have.
Written in like very poor English.
Like, well, that's how they do it. They want it. They don't want to try to convince the smart people. They don't want to. Well, not the smart people. They don't want to try to convince people who are skeptical. Like, they just want it. They want to completely. Like, they want most people to disregard it, and they just want a few people to be like, "Oh, this is my combo."
Weed out the people.
What's that H3 thing where it's like, he's like, if you don't believe things, like, turn away now.
Oh, Ty Lopez. He's like, if you're a skeptic, if you don't believe what you see online, turn away. This video's not for you. Like, if you're smart and you're skeptical of people trying to scam you,
click away now.
Yeah, get out of here.
Click away.
I'm looking for the fools.
Ty Lopez is on the next podcast for H3.
What? He's going to bring his lawyers.
Yeah, right. God. And his Lamborghini in the Hollywood Hills.
Dude, he proved that you can pay your way to the top of YouTube. Not the top, but like enough.
By self-promoting your self-promotion books.
Dude, so many ads.
Ads for ads.
Yeah. Dude, I forget that ads exist on YouTube videos.
Same.
I am just ad blocker king.
Like,
yeah.
Like anyone that sits through like a 30-second ad for YouTube, because we got to see YouTube before the ad, so we're like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Screw off with those ads. It's
like, they convince
ridiculous.
you it's like a good trade. It's like, oh, you get free videos, but you just have to watch our ads. It's like, why can't the videos just be free?
Yeah.
Like, someone made that video for free.
I would love to see some data on people adding up all the time wasted watching ads.
If you consider even like YouTube, what if you consider like just looking at like a billboard on the side of the highway?
Yeah.
Like, probably months of your life.
Or like New York Times is just all ads.
Literally.
People are like, whoa.
Wait,
cool.
the square?
Yeah, New York. Times Square.
I've never been there.
You gotta go.
Dude, Chris and I were driving through New York when we were going to Canada, and we went like through Albany and then Buffalo. I was like, dude, are we anywhere near New York City? He was like, not at all.
No, dude.
New York's
like,
a big state.
I was like, I really want to see it. He's like, dude, this is not
gonna happen.
the trip for New York City.
Out of the way.
Way out of the way.
Never seen like as many people. Like, it was during the summer I went to Times Square, and like you're just looking down this like huge street, and there's just a sea of heads. Like, you don't know, like these people are just random people like going to work, doing this and that, and like it's just huge.
That's
Boston
when you see,
times like 10.
That's when you see humanity as the like swarm that it really is.
But there's all these people like on the side, like trying to like sell you their mixtape or CD or something, like anything to get your money. Like tour guides, like they will like hunt you down and be like, yo, I got duped into buying this guy's CD. He's like, here you go, man. And then like I was like 10 years old, and he's like holding me. He's like, dude, it's like, come on, just $5. I was like, you said it was free. He's like, no, $5. And I was like, I'll give you $1. He's like, take it and just like whatever, anything you can get.
Scummy.
It is scummy.
It's all about that money.
The almighty dollar.
In God we trust. In currency we trust.
In Bitcoin we trust.
Ooh, Bitcoin. I remember I was mining Doge coins, and then I'd like let it go, let my computer run for like 3 nights, and like I think I mined like just mining 3 days rather, and like I think I mined like
$1.
1/1,000,000th of like a Bitcoin. Like I'd mine like 18 cents, and I was like, wow, not worth it.
Dude, I was watching Border Town, and they had this really funny quote in there that I liked. It was the main character. Someone tried to pay him in Mexican pesos, and he's like, I don't want this like fake like stupid Mexican money. I want real money with pyramids with eyeballs on them.
Hola, man. I love that show. Have you guys ever seen Border Town?
Never.
It's about this like show like right on the border.
This town.
And right in the
Border of a
border of
town.
Mexico, and like the guy, like the protagonist, I guess, Bud. He's like this white guy, and he's like super racist, and
He's a border agent too.
he's the border agent, and like his daughter dates like the Mexican next door, and like the Mexicans next door just are doing so much better than them because like he actually is like a hard worker, like it's so fun. And there's this one guy who's always sneaking across the border and just duping Bud.
It is a really great show, man. They honestly raise a lot of good points, but the thing I like about it is you would think that it would be a really liberal leaning show because they make a lot of jokes about people who are like anti-immigration, but they also show the hilarious side of like the complete far left. Like the Mexican dude that Bud's daughter is dating. He's just like this college kid, like super hyper liberal.
Isn't it Carlos?
I think so. He was like,
Yeah, he's
like
a
they were
total snowflake.
Yeah, total snowflake, and he was like, what are we gonna have a reverse gender wedding, like a gender neutral wedding or something?
Oh yeah, wasn't she like? Didn't she like put him back and kiss him?
Yeah. And he was like, his dad was like, oh, you need to get a job, and he's like, how can I get a job when people are trying to pass this anti-immigration law? And he was like, you're right. You should wait until all the world's problems are solved until you do anything.
Dude, that's actually like something that I really love about Jordan Peterson. It's like how he talks about like don't try to fix the world's problems. Like start like right at home with yourself. Like,
Yeah.
how are you gonna fix anything outside yourself if you can't even clean up your room?
Dude, that's a huge thing you see in people that later on in their life they convert to this super Christian ideology where all they do is like go out on these like mission trips to like help out these like starving third world countries and shit, where like they're doing that because they have their own deep problems, but instead of focusing on their own problems, they try to like
Externalize them.
yeah, they try to externalize them and just try to help other people, which is a great thing to do, but I feel like they think that they're going to fix themselves by doing that. It like sucks you in that way.
Mm.
It's really crazy, dude.
Yeah, like you think you're so good that you can just like like you just
Yeah.
I see exactly how like what's wrong here.
Mm.
Let me just fix that.
Exactly, dude.
Because like you can have the best intentions in the world, but that doesn't mean that what you do is going to come out how you like intended it to.
Yeah. Like you said with Jordan Peterson, I love his quote that was like, "How are you going to fix the world's problems if you can't even clean your room?"
And it's become like a meme.
Mm.
Like clean up your room.
Can't even clean your room.
Can't clean your room.
Speaking
What about
of
the
that,
whole kids thing you were talking about earlier, like having kids? Like I can't even have kids. Like, dude,
I'm a
take
kid.
care of my, yeah, I'm a kid.
I'm a kid
I'm
still.
the kid.
dude, Rick and Morty, when Jerry's getting like clipped with the balloons to fly off into the air, he's like, "Don't worry, Dad, you'll be reborn as a good and better baby." And he's like, "No, I am a baby. I'm a baby now."
Dude, I actually have been waiting this whole podcast for a story that we never heard earlier.
What
So that was a
story?
good voice crack.
Little
It's
13-year-old Brett.
getting worse and worse as we go. But earlier, Vinny was telling us a couple of good stories, and I stopped him. I said, "You should save this puppy."
You want me to tell now?
Yeah, you want to? Can we hear it?
I was in between.
Pass that to me. Thank you.
When I was living out in Los Angeles, I was installing solar panels, on roofs with Solar City. And in between jobs, you'd go to someone's house and you'd start or finish a job, and then the lunch break was kind of just pick something up, eat it, and then go to the next job. So we were in like East LA, and I decided to stop at a McDonald's. And anyone who doesn't know East LA, it's not the greatest neighborhood in the world. So I knew it was kind of risky, but I could have died at any moment on the roof. So your kind of safety there doesn't really come across your mind. I go to the McDonald's, I place my order, and when I'm going over into the bathroom, as I open the door, it was, mind you, this is like a multi-person men's bathroom, where like there's a few urinals, a few stalls, like it's not meant for one person. I open the door, and there's this old homeless, maybe like Asian lady, and she's standing in front of the sink. All she has on is a t-shirt, nothing else, no pants, no shoes, and her head is like shaved, except for probably about 15 to 16 little like twirled ponytails like the Hare Krishnas, with like, and each one is a different colored like rubber band wrapped around it. And she's standing in front of the sink with like a big yellow like single blade razor shaving like her pubes in the sink.
What?
And then she turns around and yells at me like, "Get out!" I was like, holy shit. And I just shut the door, and the group of kids who was sitting by the door, obviously knew that was going to happen. They started laughing. And I was like, you know what? I should have expected that. This is East LA. And then I just
a typical
peed
day.
right beside her.
No, I
Right in this next sink over.
yeah, but it was just like
You got to do
it
that
was just
there.
like it was just like next level. Like, what in the fuck is going on? Like shaving her
Your
pubes
whole day
in the
is
sink.
off.
And I was like, you know what? I just grabbed my food and just ate in the car and went about my day.
I don't think that's one of those situations where you can say I should have expected that.
But it was. I mean, you see a lot of crazy stuff in LA because it's just a whirlwind of almost like a world that's not real. Like, it never rains. It's so materialistic. Everyone's kind of under a spotlight 'cause it's La La Land, and there's just, I don't know, it's just an odd atmosphere that you could see why it spins people off the deep end of insanity.
Dude, that must have been like such a crazy formative experience for you.
It-
Like, you went and just lived on your own and like I wanted to say Canada, but it's California. But like totally just did your own thing. Like, I can't even imagine that.
It was cool. It was like you put yourself to the test, and it was not as hard as people make it out to seem. But it's like, I was thinking about it earlier, that I realized I did it with I realized I had no social media at the time. I had no Facebook, no Twitter, no Instagram. I don't even think I've really FaceTimed anybody. So it was like, I wish I took more pictures, but it was.
It's all right here.
I saw
for real.
Pretty much in my head.
fading.
So how long did you actually stay there for?
I think like almost 7 months, but it felt like 3 years.
I'm
I
sure.
felt like I was gone for a while.
Can you kind of like walk me through your whole expedition across the U.S.? Because I don't really know it very well. I just know that you went on this awesome trip.
It started off where I planned for it to happen, but it was like, for a long time I knew that in the fall of October 2015 I want to set out and go to California, and then I applied to a Solar City job because I needed to have a job kind of lined up before I went out there because it's just so expensive. So I got an email from Solar City saying like, you're pretty much hired, and I actually flew out there for the interview because like I had nothing going on. I wanted to go to California, so I just wanted to get out. I was having cabin fever, wasn't going to college. I wanted to keep the ball moving. So I drove out there across, I think it was like I-70 turns into I-80 at a certain point, interstate. Went through like Pennsylvania. And then it truly hit me how far I was when I was getting on the Indiana Turnpike, and the lady handed me the ticket. I was like, holy shit, like I'm in a car, like not flying, going into Indiana. And that was where, I started, just 100 miles an hour the whole way, blaring Led Zeppelin CDs, The Doors, the Rolling Stones. And I remember I went across the Midwest, and it was pretty boring, pretty dull, like cotton fields, not cotton fields,
For miles.
fucking cornfields and wheat fields as far as the eye could see, like very like Courage the Cowardly Dog, very stereotypical, like silos and those pinwheels on the metal thing, just for, I don't know, show maybe that they might have a use. But then I landed in California, kind of went from motel to motel trying to find a place to live, and it's surprisingly hard to get rent when you're on your own because they expect you to make 3 times the rent. Like, you have to prove to them what you're making.
They want rent to be a third of what you make?
A third, because they want you to be able to party, have a good time like they expect, and they expect you to always pay rent.
And you're paying a third of your off the top of what you make for taxes.
Yeah, so it was pretty rough, but eventually I found this nice older white couple, very like, not trashy, but just like, you know what I mean? The type are just, no thank you, like just wearing Hawaiian shirts and very, no frills, like very, like, you know what I mean? Like kind of almost like, they both talk like sailors, swear a lot, but they said, you have a very good credit record and somebody's got to give a young person a chance at some point. So they accepted me in, and I just worked I worked like probably 60 plus hours a week, and I still I was barely scraping by, having to dip into my savings in order to make ends meet. But every day was a new neighborhood of LA, like a 60-mile radius from like Torrance over to Santa Monica, East LA, Beverly Hills, a few times up in Thousand Oaks, Calabasas, where those Kardashians live, just so you kind of have an idea what it was. Like a lot of people, they go to LA and they see that the different side of how nice, how beautiful it is. They see the Hollywood sign, they go to the beach, and everyone thinks this is a great place to live in. But when you're in like the daily grind, it's a whole different ball game.
Do you see yourself making a journey like that again sometime soon, or is that something that's far off?
It's far off, but it will happen again. Like hopefully, I would like to like either do that again, or I would like to move out to LA if I could manage to write if I write that book and manage to get it published in the future at some point. I would like to eventually have like a home here, home out in LA. Because LA is if you have money, that's the place to be. It's really cool. A lot of things to do.
What's the name of your book again? I think Boogie Nights is a movie, right?
No, Boogie Nights is a movie. Hollywood Nights is what I was thinking of. But there's another few things like maybe Uncomfortably Numb, On the Border. Like just
uncomfortably. I love the little puns you get in here.
Fear and Loathing in Los Angeles.
Like I said, I'd like to keep it a name of a song that kind of does stay in tune with the story of the characters and the meaning of it, just because music is kind of what fueled my idea to write the book in the first place. I mean, music fuels a lot of people's inspirations to create anything, you know what I mean? Like
absolutely. You're just dealing with like emotion.
Yeah.
Like music is like, it's subverting the whole language thing, and it's just like straight just hitting the heart.
It truly does. It's crazy.
Dude, I actually was hoping that you'd tell one last story. I don't know if I missed it when you left, but I was hoping that you'd tell the story of when the lawyer was at the job site. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, we were on a job site with a flat roof, which you have to install these donuts, which kind of you have to glue down. They're meant to stay there for at least 20 years. So mind you, these are not easy to pry off the roof. And this lady, we installed a huge thing in a roof, and about a month later, she says, "I want it off, and you can't damage my house." And this was some house in Beverly Hills, and I remember every morning I had a bad muffler, so like you could tell I was driving like a shit box, and I would be like Blair Led Zeppelin or Leonard Skinner at 6 o'clock in the morning, letting them all know that
here I am.
Yeah, and we were taking off the system off the roof, and she hired a lawyer to make sure, because she wanted to find any little reason to sue our company. So we had to be very careful. And anyone who's not on the crew hasn't signed, who's not employed by the company, hasn't signed a safety thing, is not allowed to go past the caution tape. And this dude was being ballsy, going right under the caution tape and just walking right up onto the roof. Like, and we kept telling him, "Hey man, you can't do this. Like, you're out of line. Stop it. Like, if you get hurt, you know what I mean? Like, what are you doing?" So he's trying to find it. This dude knows the law in and out, but he's being a scumbag. So anytime he would go up on the roof, we would all just walk off the roof, so he couldn't catch us doing anything, because he's also breaking the law. So around lunchtime, someone ordered pizza. I think Domino's on their phone, and I was the one who had to go pick it up on the Sunset Strip. And that was like very classical LA. I go to pick it up at the Domino's, and some homeless guy with just a shirt and jeans on is passed out on a dirty couch with no cushions, just mouth, like arms backwards, mouth right into the fucking couch, drooling like a raccoon. And I pick up the Domino's and we go back. And since I worked a lot, obviously I didn't have much money, so I didn't make a really solid hot meal very often. So this warm pizza was like the highlight of my week.
Heaven.
So we're eating it. Now I'm thinking about, I was like, damn, this pizza's the highlight of the day so far. And as we're eating it, we get dirt in our face, dirt all over. We're sweating like hogs. Like, I would sweat so much I could actually pinch salt off like off my pants at the end of the day. It was that much, like it was insane. And as we're eating it, the dude's just sitting there looking at us. He's probably like Louis Vuitton, like the type of dude that you see like an outfit in a magazine, and you're like, that shirt's $700. Like, who buys that? That guy. This is the guy that buys that, wearing like a goofy fedora, very expensive camera, and he's sitting there looking at us, and he says, "Sucks to be poor, don't it?" And it was like you knew the people in those neighborhoods felt that way, but to actually hear them say it to us. I mean, I was too hot.
Yeah, he made it explicit, dude.
So I was like, damn, I just kept looking down, eating my pizza. I'm like, I'm not, like from minute one, it was game on. This dude was playing a mind game. And one of the kids was like, what? Like, what'd you just say? And he said, "Sucks to be poor." And then this other kid, a Marine, Keith, he might be in LA, hired by the LAPD now, but I remember him saying, he's like, "Are you kidding me?" He's like, "We're not poor." And the guy's like, "No, you're poor." Because, like, compared to him, we were peasants. Like, in that city, there's such a lopsided of
rich and poor. Like,
it is like the homeless population, 17,000. Like, and the population of Braintree is 30,000. Like, that's a lot of people.
Wow.
So so the Marine got up in his face, Keith. He's kind of yelling at him like, "We're not poor" or whatever. And we eventually kind of like got real rowdy after. Like, the boss was like, "All right," it's like, "Clean up the pizza, get your poor asses on the roof." Like, we're just like making a joke of it. And eventually the dude got so scared he just went in his Escalade and stayed there the rest of the day.
Wow.
And it was like, to actually hear them say it was like, all right, like,
ouch.
that's
all I have to say to that is I'd rather be poor than an asshole any day of the week.
I'd rather be poor and an asshole about it than I am poor.
I want to be a rich asshole.
That's crazy, man. To have that viewpoint of life that, like, yep, I fucking made it, and everyone else deserves to be where they are. It's so weird. I feel like that comes from never having had to struggle. Like, if you were never in those shoes, you'll never feel like, dude, when I used to, small example, bad example, but a good one. When I was like little and I used to go into like convenience stores, I didn't give a fuck when I grabbed something and decided I didn't want it. You just like toss it on the shelf of whatever aisle you're in, and you really don't care that you're messing up the store because you're like, oh, I'm not working here. But after you have a job like that where you're responsible for the orderliness of that area, and you just have to keep going over and over all day, putting shit back where it should be, dude, after a couple months of working a job like that, I became a totally different person when it came to being like a civilian when someone else was the public servant, you know? Like going to the store when other people are working there. Now I'm so nice to them because I can relate, you know, you've been in their shoes. But if you've never been in their shoes, if you've been like spoon-fed success your whole life, you just feel like you're more on top than you really are because you don't realize how quick you could become that person.
Dude, imagine the poor people who have to keep track of the orderliness of like a card section at a Walmart. Like Christmas cards and birthday cards, like people like have no care. They're just like, dude,
No,
like
not funny. Next.
Yeah, like who really searches around? No.
You know what pisses me off more than anything though is when people are rude to their waiters and waitresses.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Like working in like food. Oh my god! Like just like the utmost respect for those people. Like they're serving you food. You better be fucking goddamn nice,
dude. Have you ever seen Waiting?
Yeah, I was just gonna say after seeing Waiting,
yeah.
What's Waiting?
That's how it was.
I saw that.
It was a movie about like a line cook, not a line cook. It was a movie about like just kind of like if you could picture The Office, but the setting is a restaurant, like a 99 type restaurant, you know, and it's just from the viewpoint of all the employees. It's a hilarious movie. It's actually one of my favorites.
Oh,
but dude, it's just like that in real life. Like when I worked at Independence Harbor, this wedding banquet place, dude, the chefs really would fuck over people that are getting food there if they wanted to.
Easily.
Like, they don't care, dude. They're chefs working at like some small, you know, like just like banquet place. They really don't have that utmost care, and they also don't have the corporate people like coming down on them, making sure that the cleanliness standards are perfect. If you piss them off enough, then they're gonna slack on your food, and who knows, dude? They might even spit in your food. Who knows?
Wow.
Like you have to be careful.
Dude, I will never send something back.
No.
Like you could mention it, be like, yeah, it was like totally the wrong thing, but
I'm
But I'm
usually
Put her down.
Still gonna eat that shit.
Yeah, I'm too hungry anyways. To even
Yeah,
give
it's
a
like
shit.
this is hot food for me, dude. Like,
Thank you.
that's why like when people forget eggs and stuff, like they'll be like no one. I'll be like, I'll just take that one. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what's in there, but
Exactly.
like, I don't care. They're like, really?
That's crazy. I don't get people who can be ruthless to their servers. I saw a video today, or not today, yesterday. It was this dude in a restaurant, and his server was like really grumpy and kind of shitty, but he still wasn't an asshole to the server. He actually talked to him at the end. He was like, dude, be honest. He like sat him down. He was like, dude, be honest with me. Like, how's your day going? And he was like, honestly, kind of bad. And he goes, dude, I noticed that you seem to be a nice kid, but you probably are just having a shitty day. So this is your tip. And he gives him just $100 bill.
Wow.
He was like, that's only the tip. Like, bring me the check. Like, I'll pay the check out of that. That's your tip. And the kid, he was probably 19. He just started crying, and he was like, why are you crying? He's like, you just paid off my car, sir.
Wow.
Like you. This is what's been on my mind all day, and you just took that problem away. And he's crying. He's thanking him, dude. And the guy's like, realizing how much of an impact he just had on this kid. He was like, honestly, dude, I was wrong. That's not your tip. And he gives him another 100. He's like, that's your tip.
Wow.
He just keeps crying harder.
Like he gave
Like
him-
all
he
night, he's just
gave him
like,
another
actually one more. He ends up getting like 3
He's
grand.
like, I
off
ain't
this
got any
guy.
more tears left, dude.
And dude, it was just such a heartwarming video. It really was. It was like when we were talking about it the other day on the way to Barrett's. Like when someone is asking for money and you just give them that dollar, like that dollar, the happiness you get from helping that person out, you couldn't have bought that feeling with that dollar anywhere else. You know?
Yeah, I wish we could get into whether like it's moral to do an act. If like you're doing it to get something out of it, but we really don't have time. Dude, we've lost 2 cameras so far. I've rearranged both of them to get us all in the shots. Yours is right about to die.
Yep.
we got to get more used to doing them like day after day.
Yeah, we do.
We'll
We
get a
do.
system down.
It's been great so far, though.
This is
has
a
been an
fun
awesome
one, dude.
show.
Hell
I
yeah.
lost myself in this one.
I know. I can't believe I was gonna check my watch, but it's probably like because the first 20 minutes went by pretty slow, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, like it's 3:30.
Oh
like,
shit.
Yeah,
I work.
Andrew's got work at 4, so
that would be great if we
It's
checked
3:30.
checked time. It was like
Yeah.
4:15.
Yeah.
And you're just like the bad podcast.
I
dude.
don't care. I'll be late.
we were bad casting, baby.
You guys have anything you wanted to plug? Like a URL, shout
I
outs to
am the
make?
plug. Andrew Marquisio, Snapchat, A Marquisio.
Follow him
Or
on Twitter,
me
baby.
follow
Follow
me
me
on
on
Instagram.
Twitter.
Yeah, Instagram VincentAB12. Catch me on there.
We'll
That's-
link you guys. Don't you worry.
Hell
Guys,
yeah.
thank you for tuning in. Truly, you guys watch this shit from start to finish. It amazes me. I love it. I love it so much. So you're truly the heroes out there. Thank you. That's episode 3 in the books.
Bad
Boys,
podcast.
Hell yeah.
bring it in. This is the first of many.
Hell yeah. I look forward to doing it next week.
Play us out, Drew.
Play us out, buddy.